What's going on YouTube? It's Matty Milligan, and today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about selling online and how to become a successful e-commerce merchant. I gathered a whole bunch of information and I'm just going to lay it out for you, and hopefully this will help you get organized. Whether you're a complete newbie and you're thinking about starting a business, or maybe you already have a business and you're thinking about starting a second one, I'm optimistic you'll learn something from this, and it'll just help you get started and really just create a plan and help you figure out the best strategy to get started on your business. First thing I always recommend is finding a mentor. I remember when I really wanted to first start learning about this stuff 3 or 4 years ago, I started reading books, and one of the main books that really motivated me was Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. It's one of my favorite books, really inspired me and really just gave me a lot of lessons and a lot of information on really the best strategy to start your own business. So that's one thing I recommend. You can listen to me for sure. I listen to Russell Brunson, I listen to Grant Cardone, I read all sorts of marketing and business and sales books all the time. I'm always trying to innovate and figure out new strategies. In some cases I'll be a pioneer and figure them out myself, but in a lot of cases I'm just gonna look what other people have done, listen to them, and basically become their apprentice and listen to exactly what they say and then execute on what they say. So use what I say, take what other people say, eliminate what's not useful, add what's uniquely your own. So once you've found a mentor, you need to start thinking about your business idea. Are you going to sell some sort of physical product? Are you going to sell some sort of service-based product? Are you going to sell an information product? Or do you have a personal brand that you can sell other people's products with and basically just pay you to actually just promote their products because maybe you're very famous or you're some sort of celebrity status or you're an all-star, something like that. Maybe you're Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs and you want to start your own cologne line because you're a goal-scoring master, and you can basically, people know who you are locally, so they're more likely to buy from you because you're sort of the authority in their mind and they'll buy from you. But whether it's physical product, so some sort of thing that you get manufactured or maybe you build it yourself, I don't know, maybe it's soap, maybe it's clothing, maybe it's some sort of cool original techno gadget, something like that. That's something you can do. You can sell service-based businesses. There's all sorts of different ideas for this. There's pretty much anything involving websites, whether it's building websites for people or helping them write the sales copy for their websites or helping them with the marketing and advertising of their websites, things like that. Service businesses. There's a million of those different businesses you can try. So that's another one. And then information products. These are basically just e-learning and teaching courses, things like that. And then, as I mentioned before, personal branding. People assume that their idea is going to be good. This is where you really need to start thinking about competitor analysis and market research and actually analyzing the industry that you want to get into and seeing who the big players are in that game, seeing how big the market is, and then seeing how you can create your own little niche in that specific market and your own sort of blue ocean strategy and not get involved in the red ocean where you're just sort of competing with yourself and not with all the other players. And you can basically do this in a few different ways, but you need to really just analyze statistics and trends that are happening in that specific industry at that time and then sort of go from there. So once you've sort of figured it out, you'll have to figure out what's the winning product or winning service or winning sort of e-learning course or personal brand product to promote. You have to sort of figure out what the best product is to sell in that specific industry. And you're going to really do this by finding the target market. You're going to have to find a group of people to sell to, and you're going to have to figure out how your product meets into there. And this is one case where a lot of people make the mistake. They basically try to create a product and then find customers for the product when they should be finding customers and then finding products for those customers. So I would recommend finding your target audience, finding out what they're interested in, and then creating a product or a service for them to solve a problem that a lot of people in that niche have, and then just target only those people and not target a broader audience. And that way you can sort of identify what your target audience is. You can create a customer avatar, what some people call a one key fan. Once you've done that, you're gonna have to do other things like figuring out the best pricing of your product. And this is really an important thing because the next thing that I really want to get into is the branding, which I feel that a lot of people don't understand, and they just kind of create something generic where if you really would just want to, if you want to make a lot of money, if that's your goal, or you want to create like a long-term sustainable business or brand, you really need to brand your product. And this goes with the logo, this goes with like the color palette, this goes with how the look and feel of your brand, what people say about your brand. It really goes with basically things that really appeal to your target market, right? And it has to be unique. And it's other things too. Like I said, the essence words, it's really the copywriting, the language you use to communicate with your customers and basically figure out how to position yourself in the mind of your customer, and really just to distinguish yourself as well from your competitors in your specific industry. If you create a really good branding, like a really good design and a really good color palette and appeals to your market, you can create a unique product with a unique value proposition, and you can price more than all your competitors because you have all that branding stuff, and people, you're basically in the front of the mind of your customers in whatever industry you're in, so they're more likely to buy from you and they'll trust you, so they don't mind paying more, and you can become the authority in that. And you can do that with branding, and you can't do that by just creating some sort of generic store that's similar to the million of other e-commerce stores that are really out there. So you really do this, just to stand out from your customers, or stand out from your competitors and become the purple cow in your industry. That basically gives you an identity, and it really just, like I said before, distinguishes you from your competitors. The next thing I would really think about is creating your business plan, creating the strategy and laying it on the table, figuring out how you're going to get funding, whether you're going to bootleg it yourself and work some full-time job and then hustle on the side to build the business, or if you're going to find maybe a partner, or if you're going to find investors or venture capitalists to invest in your business. You're going to have to figure out how you're actually going to get money to build your business. And once you have the money set aside, I would really recommend getting a lawyer and an accountant. I am not a tax authority. I am not a lawyer. I cannot give you any sort of legal advice or tax advice. You will need to talk with someone that has taken tons of courses and gone to school just to learn this one skill and is basically a master in it, and has been in school for 10 years and paid thousands of dollars to achieve their diploma that says they're certified. You're going to have to get a lawyer just to consult with them, and an accountant just to sort of consult with them and figure out your best legal and tax strategies. And then from there, you should have a plan. And once that's done, you can go ahead with register your business. It differs from country to country, so this is something you'll need to figure out. This really protects you from your business. So if you were to get sued, for example, all your assets, your personal assets, wouldn't be involved in your business. So this is really going to protect you. Again, though, I would speak with a lawyer and accountant because they're going to give you way better advice. One thing they're also going to help you out is figure out if you're breaking any trademarks or patents or any sort of copyright laws, and figuring out if you're selling other branded products, if you need a license to sell theirs or not, and really just little things like that. Once you have all that figured out and you sort of figure out, you have your business idea, you know what you're going to sell, you're going to really have to just figure out the logistics. Like if it's a physical product, you're going to have to figure out how to get the inventory, how to get the product manufactured, how to forecast the right amount of product, how much you're going to sell for that product. So just logistical things, and really if you're selling a physical product, for example, how you're going to ship that product, how much you're going to charge for shipping, how long it's going to take, how you're going to explain that to your customers, how you're going to work that into the pricing of your product, and maybe some offers, like if you want to offer free shipping over a certain amount on your e-commerce store, that's something you'll also really just need to figure out yourself. And you'll also need to figure out the fulfillment and delivery of your product or service. If it's a service, for example, and it's something where you can just outsource, there's a million websites you can find that on. You'll probably have to do some sort of request for proposal and work with different people first before you find a really good one. And even the simple things, like getting a logo design, for example, you'll probably go through 3, 4, maybe even 10 different logo designers just to get the perfect logo at first for your business that really represents sort of the essence of what your brand is and what you want to build. Little things like that you just have to figure out the fulfillment of, and you'll really just learn a lot about managing a project and sort of how a project looks, and things involved in your project, like setting milestones with your customer, and things like scope creep, which is basically like unexpected things happen and it's causing you have to do more work and you're losing money because of it. Just little things creep in like that. Next thing I really just want to talk about as well is just all the finance aspects. I'm not a financial expert by any chance, and so what I would really think about in this case is how you set up a bank account with your bank, how good your credit is at this point. You have to start thinking about that because you're going to need a bank account to set this up. It's pretty easy to get this if you have good credit, so that's one thing you want to set up. And essentially from there, this really varies from country to country. Once you have your bank account set up, if you're selling online, you're going to have to think about payment gateways. So this is one thing where you have to use different gateways for different products. Like Stripe, for example, you can't sell any sort of guns on their gateway, and PayPal, for example, they have certain things that you can't sell on there, and there's all these other third-party gateways you can use, and all the rates and sign-up fees and subscription fees vary for everyone. So it's something you'll have to think about as well, finding the best payment gateway depending on what sort of service or product or information product you have. It's one thing that you'll need to figure out. You accepting payments is different from you paying people and invoicing people, right? There's software you can use for invoicing and getting payments, but when it comes to basically you actually paying people, you'll need to get a credit card. I wouldn't recommend using a debit card online because your credit card has extra levels of chargeback protection in case any sort of fraudulent stuff does happen online. This is one thing that Tim Ferriss talks about in the 4-Hour Workweek, so it's one thing I would really recommend that you do. If you are ever going to process any sort of payment online, you're going to pay people, always use a credit card. Don't recommend using a debit card just to protect yourself from any sort of fraud. You need to sort of figure out how to prevent any sort of fraud in your business. You'll learn things like chargebacks. I won't get into any of this stuff too in depth right now, but you'll need to start thinking about how to mitigate risk, how to reduce your overhead, just all sorts of little tweaks that you'll need to do on your business. Once you have all this stuff figured out, that's when you can really just start building the actual store and start building this stuff. And this is something you can do yourself if you have the knowledge. Otherwise, I would highly recommend finding someone that's done this because they have a lot more experience and they can do this a lot faster, and they're going to do a much better job. In some cases, you might pay $20,000-$30,000 for a website or a sales funnel or some sort of e-commerce store, but man, it's going to be a lot more valuable to pay someone a lot more than doing it yourself. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of things you'll get frustrated with. Even if you're good at technology, you're going to encounter issues, and by just getting someone else to do it for you, you're going to save a lot of headaches, and the money will be completely worth it, trust me. When you're building the store, keeping in mind, you don't want to build a generic store, like I said. You want to build sort of a very niche branded store that's really caters to your One Key fan and your target audience. If it's a service-based business, this is something where you need to figure out how you're going to get leads into your pipeline and how you're going to set up meetings with potential clients. And then you're going to have to sit with them, figure out their problems, create a solution for them, build an awesome proposal, present it to them, and then close the deal. If you have no sales experience and you're very introverted, you're definitely going to have to get outside your comfort zone and really just put yourself out there. If you've never done any selling online, this is going to be new to you, and you won't be good at closing the sales at first, but over time, the more and more you practice your pitch, you're going to gain a lot of confidence, and from there, you're basically your skills are going to improve. You're going to become a lot better at closing sales. You're going to become a lot friendlier with people. You're going to become a lot more emotionally and socially intelligent, and I'm sure you'll succeed long term if you just keep at it. Now, once you have all that stuff figured out, you'll have to figure out what the best software is, and I'm not going to get into what the best software is. You're going to have to figure out all the different tools and things you're going to have to use. You're going to have to invest in your own personal learning. You're going to have to figure out how marketing works and all advertising online works and how social media works, and you're going to have to look at big data and basically insights so that you can make better long-term decisions for your business, and basically how you can make moves in your business. And you'll figure out how to do things like split testing, which is testing two different things against each other and seeing which one works better and using that one. You'll figure out forecasting, whether it's inventory or sales numbers and different things like that. You'll have to figure out budgeting for your business, where to allocate the right money in the right departments for your business. You'll have to figure out how to plan long term and really just create marketing campaigns, and how to really just plan long term for your business and put things in place that really help your business succeed. By analyzing all this sales data, what you're really going to do is you're going to have to see if your business is actually making money or if it's losing money. And honestly, the most important thing in your business is you making sales and money coming into your business. That's the most crucial part. If you don't have money coming into your business and you're in the red, then you need to figure out how to get yourself back in the black. It's something where you need to figure out how to actually sell stuff. All the other stuff I mentioned is not important unless you're actually getting money pumped into your company, and you can use that money to actually fulfill your service or your product and then ship that to your customers. You're going to really start want to focusing on growing and scaling your business, and this is where hiring other people that are really good at things that you're not necessarily the best at comes into play. So maybe you're good at fulfilling your service but you suck at selling. Maybe you could hire someone to do that for you. Or maybe it's just the little boring tasks you don't like to do, like finance, or maybe you don't like to do the accounting and remuneration for your business. That's something where you could hire an assistant to do all that for you. You get them to book meetings for you. There's all sorts of outsourcing platforms you can find online. You can find freelancers to basically just do anything at this point. It's very simple to find them, whether it's local people or people internationally. This is really going to free up your time and sort of let you step back from the business and really just figure out in your mind how you can grow and scale this business even bigger than it currently is, whatever sort of level of the business you're at. And from there as well, you can just sort of automate little parts of the business, right? And you can create systems. You can figure out, I guess, just a sort of like a day-to-day operations booklet of how your business runs and figure out everything of your business. And this stuff will really help you if you do ever want to sell your business long term, right? If you can present that person to a potential buyer and you have all this stuff set out, you have all those systems in place, you have all the documentation of how your business works, every little aspect, that's going to allow you to charge more for your business. You don't want to sort of create some little small business that's making only a few $1,000s a year and you're always worried about it and it's not profitable every year. You want to build something that's scalable year over year, long term. Every single year you want your business to be bigger than it was the previous year, and you want sales to increase, and you need to do this by being innovative as an entrepreneur and basically finding problems that your current customers have and then offering them new solutions, or tweaking products. They'll come to you with feedback on how your product sucks, and from there you just make it slightly better, and that makes them happy and that makes them spend more money on your product and then tell their friends about it, and then their friends buy from you, for example. And like I said, this is really going to help you if you do want to build that thing long term. If you want to basically be like LinkedIn, for example, where they started off in some small business and then they grew to sell their company to Microsoft for about $26 billion, then you can totally do that. And it's a lot easier to do this now than obviously it was 100 years ago with all the technology and all the information out of there. So if that's what you want to do, I would totally just get started right now on your business. I'm totally stoked that you watched this whole video. Do me a quick favor. I want you to like, comment, and subscribe right now if you haven't already. Really appreciate you watching this whole video. I'm going to come out with a lot more to come. This is Matty Milligan. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.